But what we like to do is at the very end of our interviews is do a list of popcorn questions. This is something new that we'll be trying out in 2024.
For sure.
They're fun questions. I hope you don't have to think too hard about them because if you do, there's something going on. But the first question is, what was the funniest moment or most memorable moment on set? Let's talk about The Way Home. Let's talk about that one.
Most memorable. All right, I'm not trying to think too much about it, so I'll give you something that was kind of fun. There was a scene where we had to. I hop out of a car. You've seen that, that happened.
Yep.
A few weeks ago. I hop out of the car with Alex, and with this specific scene, we shot everything with the car first, with the car standing there, and for some reason, we decided to do the car pulling in at the very end. Okay. And nobody really paid attention to the fact that the car was a manual.
Oh, shit.
And so we're like in the green room, we're waiting. This is the last shot. Like we could go home, and this is the easiest part of the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's wide,
Yeah.
It's like an extreme wide. So you just gotta leave with the car. That's it. It's like, what are we all waiting for? And our AD and our director, they come in and they only bring me out, and I'm like, wait, did I? Am I like, what's happening? Like,
Right.
it's like that prince walk to the principal's office. It's like, what did I do wrong? And they kind of pull me in close, and they were like, so we have a problem. And I was like, what happened? So we shot the whole thing, and we have it, except the car is a manual, and this is gonna be like, what do we do? And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy, except I know how to drive a manual.
There you go. Yeah.
So, I kind of played into it for like 2 seconds, and then I was like, I can't play into it too much. I just want to let them know, like, I know how to do this. And that was it just gave me like so much more confidence too.
For sure.
Because you got to hit those marks with the car too, and I was like, all right, so now that you know that I do this, and you've allowed me to do this, I'm like ready to go.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Got pumped. They were like boost, because they were betting on it. Apparently, they were like, "There's a 75% chance that this is not gonna work out, and you would have to like figure something out about this." Except it worked out. So that was something that I tell people whenever we talk about The Way Home. It's like a fun baller story.
Hell yeah, and good for you for being honest about it, even though you messed with him a little bit. Because I worked on a film where the actor was not honest about it and couldn't drive it, and the scene requires him to pull up at a drive-through, like a A&W type thing. It's at a drive-in, and he pulls up, and the camera's right in front, and they're trying to get the shot, and the car jumps. Like, it almost takes out the crew in front of him, and like all the kind of, because he didn't know how to drive it, and it wasn't in park, and it wasn't and it just kind of, it was horrible. So good for you for messing with them, but then also saying, "Oh, I can drive it. Don't worry, I'm good."
Oh my! I'd put it on the resume. I'd put it on the resume.
For sure. Skills. I can drive the car. All right, this is an interesting one. We always get some interesting answers with this one, so we're always really curious. If you could live in any film, what film would it be?
Oh my God, it can't be my favorite. Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah. Where would you go, my man?
What? Because my favorite film is Pi.
Oh.
I'm like, where would I be there?
Yeah, where would you be in that film? That's interesting.
How do I find myself in that movie? Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about A Beautiful World, built by Wong Kar-wai. This is a very typical one, but In the Mood for Love.
Oh, yeah.
The way that film is shot is just like, I tried. That's a goal. It's a personal goal.
All right. Yeah. That's good.
So, In the Mood for Love. That it's full of culture, super rich, and the slow motion shots. It just blows my mind. I love slow motion.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, we're such cinematic and filmmaking nerds when we just get so excited about shots when you're like in a theater or just watching a movie and you're like, holy shit, that looks amazing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you know
the
when
people you're with are like, what are you talking about?
Exactly, and you know when the answer to
Same.
and when the answer to the question is you want to live in a film because of the filmmaking and because of the cinematic part of it instead of what you know you're a total film nerd. It's
Exactly.
you know, it's like the slow motion. I want to live in a world where I can move in slow motion and do like all. I love that, bro. That's a great answer. That's such a good answer. All right, what you got next, Logan? Which one do we want to hit him with?
So the next one is going to be, if you could work with anyone, who would it be?
Okay. I've been watching a lot of Christopher Abbott.
Yeah.
And I feel like we kind of have a similar vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree, but that's somebody that, well, if we talk about like recent times, that's something I would love to.
For
love
sure.
to work.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that collaboration, honestly. I think that, yeah,
The
totally.
vibe is-
We'll put it out into the universe.
That's right.
We'll,
That's right.
Put it all over social media.
We're going to manifest that into reality, my man. We're going to make that happen. Let's see. What is your typical morning routine?
Typical morning routine. I try. Is this like what actually happens, or is this what I try?
No. Let's be honest about it. What do you try to make happen, and then what's reality? Like,
All right. So ever since the new year, it's been. I try to wake up early. I just wake up early. So like, I don't know if 7:38 is considered early unless you're David Goggins,
Right, exactly.
So that's kind of like the time I wake up. Try to make tea, Indian chai, like fully.
For sure.
And I watch Mad Men like the first thing in the morning.
Yes. Yeah.
And I watch an episode and then I try to go into working, on Hold the Sauce, like just some client work, creative stuff that we try to figure out. But that's kind of like, it's a very ease into it, and by noon you figure out if you can still hit the gym if there's enough time.
Yeah.
But 4 times a week I try to hit the gym. So whenever that fits into the schedule, it's usually in the morning. But yeah, it's a very chill routine. Inspired right off the bat with Mad Men, and then you're like, okay,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, one of the greatest shows ever, honestly. And the amount of people that came through that show, like, I mean, when I first watched it, and I'm like, I didn't know such and such was on it. I didn't know such and such was on it. And yeah, it's just brilliant show. And we've had the great pleasure of interviewing like a ton of people off of that show, and have become friends with a lot of them. And it's just like, yeah, what a brilliant show, man. That's so good.
So well done, and the cinematics too are just insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
Logan knows. Logan knows the vibe.
That's right. He knows.
It's so funny. Well, I'm so glad you brought up David Goggins, because we were talking about exercising way back at the very beginning of our conversation. And literally first day of exercising, I was listening to a Joe Rogan, David Goggins podcast, and freaking I tried to do too much and like pulled my calf. So fucking David Goggins, man, like always messing people up.
They don't know me, son. They don't know me.
Oh my god, it's so freaking funny. Oh my god, that guy's crazy. Anyway, probably one of the most serious questions we ever ask any of our guests, and this one, it's a reflective question.
For sure.
Are you happy with your career so far?
Ooh.
I know.
So far, it's yes comes to mind, because of the trajectory and the path that's being built. Am I super satisfied if I could just pull the plug right now? Would I be like happy with everything? Probably not. There's a lot to achieve. There's a lot to do, but I think the trajectory I think that's what the question is, right? Like with what we have accomplished. Sure. Yeah. I don't think, I can't even imagine. Like, I'm so grateful with everything, the way everything is, because I know people who've been acting since they were kids, and I can look them in the eye and actually talk to them about acting.
Yeah.
And I feel, like that's in its own way you know, I stepped up, you know, in a way. So yeah, it's definitely a yeah.